Hello, my name is Dr. Euridice Alvarez, and I'm the Oboe professor at Baylor University. Today, I will show you some teaching techniques and tricks to study the 2023 TMEA All-State Audition Oboe and English Horn Etudes. I hope they help you. The first etude we're going to look is Ferling Etude number 16 in the key of B minor. It's marked allegretto risoluto. The quarter note should be between 96 to 120. Play it from beginning to end. First, play this etude with energy and determination. Pay close attention to dynamics and articulation markings. The best suggestion for learning this etude is to group the notes into small units and practice them in groupings across beats, across bar lines, like speaking words. You can also work small groupings up to a faster tempo. And it's really fun, and it'll be easy to practice this way. I marked these groups with pink brackets. The smallest group is 5 notes starting on beat 1. The next group is 5 notes starting on beat 2. And the last group is 5 notes starting on beat 3. You can elide into one another, and it'll sound more connected. Now, the first major, I'm going to play it for you, is the first grouping. And it goes like this. Now you put the 3 notes together. Let's do one more bar. The 3 groups together. In general, tenuto, the first note of a slur group. I mark these in the first half of the etude in blue. Play them like this. In major 7, there's a tiny one on top of the middle C sharp. It's marked in red. If you look at the bottom of your page, it suggests using the open C sharp fingering, which is just the finger for F sharp key. I recommend using the full fingering for C sharp. The other one sounds out of tune and it doesn't sound good at all. So I'm going to demonstrate this one. This is with the fake fingering. With the real fingering, sounds much better. Now, practice B and F sharp minor arpeggios carefully to have a clean technique. These arpeggios are in bars 1, 3, 9, 11, 17, 18, 29, and 31. I marked all this with red stars. Tenuto, the first note of each slur pair for more evenness of technique. So play them like this. Now, before playing the high E's in bars 14 and 17, roll the reed lip in, blow faster air, and play a crescendo 2 or 3 notes before the high E's. I marked these E's with pink arrows. Also, tenuto the G before the first high E. Just blow a lot of air, and you can make a break if you want between the G and the E, or just blow straight air. Now, I'm going to show you the fingering for high E that I suggest. I don't suggest for you to use the standard fingering, but you can use a full fingering, half hold 2, 3, A flat key, and then 2, 3, and the third octave key. I think this fingering is really comfortable, especially when you're coming from a G or from a C sharp. So play like this. Remember to blow a lot of air to the high note. The next one. Now, in majors 21 and 22, I mark this in green. Move the index finger of the right hand slightly ahead of the other fingers. So there are no finger bleeps in the interval from A sharp to B. So play these ones like this. And remember to always blow a lot of air when you're playing 16 notes. You can breathe at the end of the sixth line, playing a slight ritardando in bar 24 before the breath in beats 2 and 3, and then take a big breath to finish the etude. Because if you notice in this etude, there are not too many breathings. Breathe at the beginning, and then at the end of the second line, at the end of the fourth line, and then you have to make it all the way to the end. So you are allowed to add this breathing at the end of line 6. I marked this with blue letters, and I wrote ritardando. So play it like this. As always, the metronome is indispensable when practicing technique. Perfect a slower tempo before moving the metronome up. Practicing mistakes is never helpful. I hope this helps you. The second etude is Ferling Etude number 19 in the key of G minor and is marked andante. The eighth note should be between 86 to 100 and play from beginning to end. It helps a lot initially to think this etude in 4/8 instead of 2/4 to play clear rhythms and subdivisions. This way, you get a well-defined sense of full value notes. Also, follow the dynamics and articulations that are marked, exaggerate dynamics, and also try to sing through the oboe with nice vibrato and play musically. It'll be great if you can also add some nuances in the climatic notes. Now, staccato marks in this etude do not mean for you to play these notes short. Just articulate nicely and try not to use the tip of your tongue, but further back, like if you're saying the syllable do, like this. I'm going to play the first 2 bars. Now, in bar 4, phrase, but don't breathe there. It is very awkward. I will breathe only if necessary. Better to breathe after the A in bar 5 or even after the high C in bar 6. I mark these breathings with pink arrows. Now, be very careful with the pitch on the high notes. To avoid playing sharp, one trick is to blow the column of air down on notes above high A, like in bars 6 through 8, 13 to 14, and in bar 32. They're marking the score with green brackets. Also, voice an O inside the oral cavity. This will help keep the pitch in tune so it doesn't go sharp. Play it like this. I'm going to play the first 2 phrases, marking green brackets. The next one. Now, there are ornaments in this etude, mainly trills and one turn. These should fit within the andante walking tempo context, not a running tempo. There are a few trills on this etude, and they're in bars 3, 4, 9, 29, and 33. Now, the F-sharp trill in measures 3, 9, and 29 should sound clean if you put the index finger at the very end of the key. Then, the speed of the trill should fit the context of the style of the etude. Remember, don't play it too fast. And another trick is to blow fast air through the trills. So I'm going to play the first 2 trills. Now, In bar 17, there is a turn. This one, you should play all the notes very evenly and it should sound very clear. Don't play it too fast and phrase it elegantly. Play it like this. Now, there are a few accents in this etude. Accents are in bars 1 and 2, 15 through 16, 20, and 27 to 28. You should play this with wind and vibrato, but they should be articulated. These accents are accomplished with weight of sound, not percussiveness of the tongue. So I'm going to play a few of these ones. And remember not to use the tip of the tongue, but more further back. Now play the next two. Now, in bars 23 to 25, I mark this with a pulper bracket. There are also accents, but in the low notes, in the F sharp, the G, the E, and the D. Play this comfortably, and it helps a lot to place the reed more in the upper lip than the lower lip, and use a lot of air. Also, avoid using the tip of your tongue to articulate these accents. So play them like this. Taper ends of phrases with a diminuendo. When you see a diminuendo, play louder so that you will be able to diminuendo. Don't play so soft so soon. For example, in bars 9 to 10, 17 to 18, and at the very last bars of the etude. The same applies to crescendos. Don't play so loud so soon. So play these endings of phrases like this. I'm going to play the first ending of a phrase and the last one. And the last phrase. There's a nice sequence starting in bar 30, marked with a green bracket. Make sure you do a crescendo and go all the way to the high note B flat. I marked this in bar 33 with a red arrow. So play it like this. Lastly, practice this etude from beginning to end, rest a few minutes, play it again, rest a few minutes, and then play it a third time. This way, you will work on stamina and endurance. I hope this helped you. And the last etude that we're going to talk about today is Ferling Etude 28 in the key of C minor. It's marked Allegretto Spiritoso. The quarter note should be between 108 to 120 and play from beginning to end. Now, spiritoso means humorous. So play this etude with lots of air, with a secure tempo. Try not to rush. Always practice with the metronome. I suggest starting quarter note equals 60 or even 50 if you can do that, and move up 2 clicks in the metronome at a time until you reach your goal tempo. This etude can also be put together in small groupings. See, the first note is an imaginary pickup note. Then the grouping can be 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, starting on the second beat. Hardly you will play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Practice this way first slowly to get the sense of these groupings. Now, these groupings you can practice with bars that have different types of articulations, and practice these bars separately. I mark those bars with green stars. Almost each bar has a different type of articulation. Also practice the connection between the bars to get used to it. So these are in bars 1, 7, 11, 17, 19, and 21. Let's practice these patterns of 2, 3, 4, 1 on each bar that I marked with a star. Play them like this. Remember not to play too fast. Next one. Next one. And next one. Also, remember to tenuto the first note of each slur group. I mark these notes with pink lines. Our general tendency is to get to the second note of a slur group too soon. These bars are 2, 4, 6, 12, 15, 18, and 20. So play them like this. Next one. And next one. Next one. Now, in bar 20, a shortened high F fingering can be used. I marked this in the score with a purple bracket. Use your thumb for active key, half hold 2, and the A flat key on the right side. I think it's more comfortable. So play it like this. Now, in this etude, there are no dynamics marked, just the crescendo and the double forte at the beginning. But you can add hairpins for each phrase, then crescendo going into the climaxes. There are 2 big climaxes in this etude. The first one occurs in bar 8 on the E flat and in bar 15 on another E flat. I mark this with purple brackets. Now, for the fingering for high E flat on these bars, I recommend using a full fingering, half hold 2, 3, 2, 3, and the low B key. Sometimes in some brands of oboe, you can use the low B flat, but I recommend playing the low B key. So play these bars like this. The next one. There are small number 2s above the E flats in a few bars, bars 9 and 10. That means that you have to use the left E flat fingering, not the right fingering. So for example, I'm going to play second to last bar at the very end. Now, in bars 13 to 15, there are diminished triads and many other large intervals. You can practice these large leaps isolated. I mark them with red arrows. For example, in bar 13, there's a large interval of a 15 from F sharp to high C. Then there's another big interval from F sharp to high B. And the last one, which is a 16th from high C to low E flat. So play them like this, practice them this way. Next interval. And the last one. And I put it all together. Now, play a diminuendo into bar 16, the fermata bar. This should be like a surprise, so play like this. Lastly, record yourself on these 3 etudes and listen back to see if you're playing the correct dynamics and articulations that are written. Always practice with the metronome and the tuner. Remember, they're your best friends. Thank you for listening, and I hope you will find these guidelines helpful. Best wishes to all of you preparing for these auditions. Have a great day.